Hi everyone! Today we are going to do the bubble scientific method experiment. You will need 2 types of bubble gum and a ruler, string. It says it needs to be 1 meter long. I guarantee you won't be able to blow a bubble that's 1 meter long. If you can, please show this to me because I would be astonished. You need scissors to cut the string if you haven't cut the string already, which I have not yet. Wax paper, and of course the pages themselves, which is this page, the bubble method, the next page, and the next page. Okay, I am going to cut my string here, and apparently my scissors are glued together. That is sad. Oh, I fixed it. Maybe. See if they actually cut. Okay, got my string. And then wax paper. I have it on this view because I am going to show you how I would fill out this lab report. Okay, so I'm gonna put my little string down here. Introduction. We learned about the scientific method, and now it's time for us to put our knowledge to the test. Use bubblegum to follow the steps of the scientific method and to solve Sally's problem. Background. Sally's shoe was challenged to a bubble blowing contest by Bobby Smith. Sally's backpack contains 2 types of bubblegum. She cannot decide which gum will help her to blow the biggest bubble and win the contest. All right, our first steps are to obtain our materials: wax paper, 2 different pieces of gum labeled A and B, and string and a meter stick. You need a ruler, and I would say string as long as a ruler. Okay, so the first part of our scientific method is the problem. So we need to observe our gum and develop a problem statement about our lab activity. So, problem Okay, so I pulled up here the scientific method foldable, which has its own video, and it goes in your science notebook. Okay, so I'm gonna scroll down. This is intended to be a 2-page paper. It's a foldable. You can either print it double-sided, you can print it one-sided, and make sure that you put the strips that go along with the strip it goes with, which is in order. Make sure that those are in the correct order, or you can write it and just do the foldable in your notebook and don't have to use printer at all. Okay, so problem. Here it says, problem, what are we curious about? My video's in the way. What are we curious about? Okay, well, we're curious about which bubble gum will blow the biggest bubble. Okay, it says that it is written as a question and it cannot be answered with a yes or no. Can bubblegum A blow the bigger bubble is a yes or no question. So that's not what we want. So let's go back to our background. There we go. Which gum will help Sally to blow the biggest bubble and win the contest? That sounds like a good problem. Grab my pen here. Which gum will help Sally blow the biggest bubble? Okay. We still have to make our observations. For that, I need to zoom in so my handwriting's a tad better. Okay, so for my bubblegum, I got Trident Splash. And I got Ice Cubes Icebreakers. I picked these out at the dollar store. We are going to label, oh, this was resealable. Ice Cubes as bubblegum A. Ice Cubes and Trident as bubblegum B. Okay. Trying to make it where you can see. But I will eventually have to turn it back up to my wonderful face so that I can write on the screen for you. Okay, so let me put it in the right order. We have I know I had a pen here a second ago. I bet Brownie knocked it off the table. Brownie, what'd you do with my pen? This cat, I tell ya. Okay. Doesn't matter, because pen doesn't work on wax paper. Okay, it's kind of light, but hopefully you can see tiny little A. Let me get a little bigger. A. Dope. B. B. Sorry, I'm not good at writing backwards. But that is something that I could get better at. I just don't have to do it very often. Okay, so from what I can see with Bubblegum A is white, it's square, it has speckles. I would say there is more gum in Bubblegum A, but it's really hard to tell because of the way the surface area is distributed. Bubblegum B is red. It's in I would declare it as a squoval, which is a square and an oval, because technically it's a rectangle, and it's also oval because it's round. It's shiny, where this one's not shiny. I'm not sure if that matters at all. There's not any speckles in this one. Okay, so now I'm going to write my observations. Bubblegum A, white, square, it's 1 centimeter cubed. Which means that each side is a centimeter. And it had speckles. Okay. The red one is 2 centimeters by 1/2 centimeter. 2 centimeters by 0.5 centimeters. Okay, it's red, rectangle / oval, and shiny. Uh-oh. Shiny. Okay. We've now done our observations, which let's make sure we're following. Says problem, hypothesis, experiment, collect data, analyze, and conclusion. So now we need to make an educated guess. It's written as an if, then, because, but for you guys, it's just if, then. If is your independent variable, and we haven't discussed that yet. Independent variable is the I change. What am I changing? I am changing the type of gum. The then is the dependent variable, data. So what am I collecting data on? I'm collecting data on bubble size. So next should be our formal hypothesis. If I blow a bubble with bubblegum piece A, then it will be, I'm going to say, It's been a very long time since I've chewed gum, so my background knowledge is a little rough on whether Trident or Icebreakers blows the biggest bubble, but I do think Trident has way more flavors, so they might have more experience with gum. So I'm gonna say I think bubble gum piece A will be smaller than bubble gum piece B. We're doing this one at home because we won't be able to blow bubbles in class. Conduct the experiment. Okay, so now I need to chew bubblegum piece A for 2 minutes, blow a bubble. I'm gonna measure it myself because you don't need a partner. At least I don't think you need a partner. So we're gonna find out. Measure the diameter of the bubble. So that means from this side of the bubble to this side of the bubble. That's what you're measuring. Put the string on the meter stick to measure the length in centimeters. We are using a ruler. We still want to measure it in centimeters. Record our data and repeat steps A through D 2 more times. Okay, so chew bubblegum A for 2 minutes. If I wanted to take more observations, I would say that Arctic grape is a good definition for this flavor. Probably should start a timer. So I don't typically chew gum because of my jaw. My jaw doesn't actually sit in the correct placement with my teeth. So what that means is that my jaw is tilted, and it's tilted to the right. And what happens is when I chew gum, since my jaw doesn't actually sit in the socket, it pops out and sometimes it gets stuck and it's kind of painful. So I stopped chewing gum. And then there's also an ingredient in most gum called sorbitol. And I found that that was making my migraines a little more difficult. But I'm doing this for you, and I'm not chewing it for very long. So hopefully I don't have any effects. But if you have any issues with chewing gum, please don't do the experiment and hurt yourself. I know that I'll be okay. All right, so I have 30 seconds more. Time. Okay, it says I can hear my jaw clicking. Measure, blow a bubble and measure the diameter with the widest part Gotta get my string ready. Wanted to see if I could change the camera because Brownie's eating right now, but it won't let me. Okay. It popped. I definitely have to agree. It's kind of hard to do yourself. Okay. I got 2 centimeters. It's already labeled here, so I don't feel the need to label it again. I also questioned before whether I had the same amount of gum, and the easiest way for me to test that is to roll it into a circle and see what centimeter I get with the both of them. So I'm going to try that. So this one is 1 centimeter in diameter. Okay. It said that I don't have to chew again for 2 minutes again because I already chewed it for 2 minutes. So I just have to blow bubble 2 more times. And it says that right here, piece A through D 2 more times. Oh. I really feel like that should be B. I don't think I need to chew this for 2 more minutes. I'm changing that. B through D. Okay. That time I got to 3 centimeters. I think I'm just getting better at blowing bubbles. That one was 6 centimeters. This is not anywhere near even. I doubled my size. I'm gonna give that one more try. Nope. I think 6 is the biggest I'm gonna get out of this. Okay. Repeat this experiment using bubblegum piece B and record your data. Okay, now obviously that means that I need to remove bubblegum A. Oh, start my timer. Okay. Now, taste observations. It says that it's strawberry with lime flavoring. It has like a juice in the middle. It definitely seemed like it had juice in the middle. But it tastes more like strawberry lemonade to me. Just looking at its advertising, it says up here, cleans teeth, and then it gives a little asterisk. And then it says on the back that chewing Trident after eating and drinking cleans teeth. Maybe that's because all of your gum is brushing your teeth. And so all of the food that you just ate and it's all over your teeth is now in your gum. That doesn't make me feel more satisfying of chewing gum. Reading Icebreakers cubes. Oh, time's up. I noticed that the first ingredient on this one is xylitol, which if you didn't know, xylitol is extremely toxic to dogs. Which for one, you shouldn't be giving dogs gum anyways. But it's good to know that I should keep the icebreakers far, far away from my dogs. Okay. I couldn't even blow a bubble that time. I can't blow a bubble. It's just breaking apart. Three centimeters when I finally got a bubble. Oh, let's have it. Okay, try again. It's definitely thicker. So it's like really hard. I feel like zero needs to be mentioned here. Really struggling with Trident. One and a half. Okay. I want to also measure this one. Roll it into a circle. I think they're the same size. They are. Not that you want to see my ABC gum, but here you go. Chewed. They are the same size. Okay. What's next? Now we need to analyze our data. Okay, so which type of bubble gum produced a larger bubble on average? Well, icebreakers, at least I was able to blow bubbles. I mean, majority of the time I couldn't even get Trident to make a bubble. And the largest I got it to go was 3 centimeters. So ice cubes, because Trident was so thick, it was, oh, that doesn't need to be capitalized. Hard to even blow a bubble. Okay. Draw a bar graph to compare the average size of the bubbles. Okay, so first we need to discuss what a bar graph is. A bar graph is that graph that, goes like this. Makes bars. Okay, so first thing when we are drawing up, I'm going to get rid of this gum before I get it on my computer first. I'm quite certain I am done with the experimenting part since we're on analyze. Okay, so first part that I'm going to shrink me down to the corner here. Okay, so again, first part, when we're making any kind of graph, we need to have labels. So this right here is our X. Okay. This over here is our Y. All right, so this over here on Y is typically your numbers on a bar graph. So centimeter, diameter. I guess it would be centimeters of, not in, of diameter of bubble. Okay. And I am a very color-oriented person. I see things better when they are in color. So down here on our X is our type of gum. And I am going to have one color represent A and another color represent B. B. Okay. A. On our first try, A was 2 centimeters. Oh, just noticed we're missing numbers. So 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, 3. Well, if we do it that way, our bar graph is going to be this tiny. And one of the main rules of making a graph is that you utilize your space. So we don't want to do 1 per line. So how about if we try 1 every 3 lines? 2, 3, 4. Okay, but now we're not able to get our last data point for bubblegum A, which was that 6 centimeters. So we're gonna have to try again. For some reason, it's not letting me erase. There we go. Okay. Oh, this is what. So that means that we have to do 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This top one would be 7. Okay. All right. Type 1. Type A. Our first data point we said was 2. Okay, so that means that I need to go to the top of line 2 and draw my bar. Please ignore Buddy. Okay. I made a mistake. Type of gum doesn't make sense for X because we are going based on trial right now. X is our trials. I always spell trials as trails, so I think that's trials. This was trial 1. I'm gonna center that more so that these 2 represent 1. These 2 represent 2. And these represent 3. Then again, we're not utilizing enough space in our graph. So 4 and 4. There we go. That's better. 2 and 3. That's a 3. Now it looks like a backwards E. 3. Okay. 2. That means that I can make this bar bigger, 2. So I might as well make it bigger. Okay. Trial 2, we had 3 centimeters, and then trial 3 was 6. 3, and 6. Need a bucket fill option. Okay. Okay. B. Now we put the first one on B as 0 because it wouldn't let me get anywhere. So trial 1 is 0 still. And the next one we had was 3. Okay. And our last one was 1.5. Right here. Okay, we have now completed our graph. Now we need to make a conclusion. Create a conclusion statement for your experiment. Sally should use, well, from the graph and what we wrote on our analyzing of our data, which I forgot to show you. Analyzing data is to graph it using a bar, line, or pie chart graph. And then we use that and we make words, which in this case we used our words and then made a graph. And then our next step is to conclude, which means that we need to restate what we thought for our hypothesis in the first place. That does not mean to literally copy and paste your hypothesis. It means I thought that bubblegum B was going to be bigger than bubblegum A, but after experimenting, I found that bubblegum A was bigger than bubblegum B. What I would do differently is I would try multiple pieces of gum and see if that would help me increase my bubblegum size. So now let's fill out what they said here. Sally should use bubblegum A. I'm still in colored pencil here. A. Because it's bubbles, and this is the it's without the apostrophe because it owns its bubbles. Its bubbles were consistently bigger than B. What are some things in this experiment that might make your data incorrect? What types of mistakes or confusing procedures could cause changes in your experiment? Well, I wasn't very good at keeping track of time, so human error. And human error is found in so many different things, like it's beyond even comprehensible of how many things we don't know we're not taking into account for that we are doing. So it also could have been, so time, pressure that I was blowing into the bubble, pressure and time at the same. My measurements with the string, I could have misread the string. Okay, I think that's enough. Why is it important that you... I think my why is covering up an R. That your procedures and results are clear and easy to follow by other scientists. Well, the reason why we follow the scientific method is so that it can be repeated. So if you guys were to go and get Trident Splash Strawberry with Lime and Icebreakers Cubes Arctic Grape, you should be able to have the same finding that I had, that Icebreakers had a bigger bubble than Trident did. So typically when you are filling out a lab report and it's written out like this, Buddy, stop it. I don't feel like you need to write complete sentences, but if you're writing it in your lab book and you don't have that question there, it has to be a complete sentence. Otherwise, if another scientist was to look at it, they wouldn't know what you were talking about when you just said so other scientists can repeat it. They wouldn't even know what it is. Okay, now we need to write the steps of the scientific method below. Okay, so one second. Killian! All right. So scientific method can be tracked in a couple different ways. The one that I give you in this one has observations included in experiment. And so we only have 6 here. Problem 1, hypothesis 2, experiment 3, collect data 4, analyze data 5, conclusion 6. Okay, so our first is to always state the problem. Now, something that I did that wasn't written is that when I said I believe that Trident would be a bigger bubble than icebreakers because Trident has more flavors, and I thought that they had more experience with gum. I was using background information, and I could have made more, or I could have researched that a little bit more during that time. So that's what belongs there. Now, when I ask you the scientific method below, typically I'm not going to ask for the full scientific method. I'm just going to ask for this one that I give you, because we don't typically have enough time to conduct background research beyond prior knowledge. And we also don't have time to submit for peer review, which means to have other scientists look at it and test it for themselves. Okay, so I did lie, though. We made observations before we experimented, but I include it in experiment here. So I guess technically it wasn't a lie. Okay. Then we formed a hypothesis. I did one too many eyes. Okay, and then we conducted our experiment. And then we collected the data. Then we analyzed that data. Then we made conclusions. And then this would be the point where we submit it for peer review. Which I could be doing for you. So I could be saying, here, take my idea of icebreakers versus Trident. You have to be specific, though. You have to get the Trident splash with strawberry lime and the icebreakers ice cubes Arctic grape in order for it to be the same ones. So in order for my experiment here to be actually replicatable, I need to state that my ice cubes were Icebreaker brand. And it was Arctic grape. And I need to be specific that it was Trident Splash, strawberry with lime. Okay. And then that would be when you guys tell me if you got the same results or not. You should always start your paper with your name and the date. All right. And that is all. Thanks for joining me on our adventure with the bubble method. Let me know what your results are, and as always, please let me know that you are participating by commenting on the assignment on the stream or in Slack. All right, see you next time. Bye. Maybe. Oh, there it is.